right now. So we'd like to welcome all of you that have joined us outside of District 16. We have two presenters for you today, one being Ms. Jan Farrington, who is currently your Southwestern area membership, and she has done several trainings on this prior to. In addition to you have Mary Kelly-Perkins, who is the District 16 Parliamentarian and Leadership Chair, and she has also done several trainings on the reporting. So, having said that, we will be monitoring the chat session as we go. Jan Farrington is going to open up first, and then we'll move into Mary Kelly. We want to try and save enough time. We've allotted an hour for this training. However, if we need to run over based on the questions that we have, we're more than willing to do so. We don't have any restrictions with that in regards to that aspect. If you would like to opt out, that's perfectly fine if you want to do so. We are recording, so in the event that you do take off your mute, remember that we are recording this. We will be offering that up to auxiliary members afterwards that were not able to participate in the Zoom this evening. I believe that's all I have for this time. So at this moment, I would like to open up the training session to Ms. Jan Farrington.
Great. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Well, welcome to How to Write Committee Reports. And I'm getting feedback. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Lisa, am I okay? Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to How to Write the Committee Report, and then moving on into the importance of the impact report as well. Okay. First of all, when you begin your writing a report, there's a few steps that are really important. The first thing you should do is whether or not you have only one committee that you are writing a report for or all the committees. If you could just set up your file folders or your file folder for each committee. I have found when I do that, I've got my file folders here. On the front of it, it's got my due date that it's due on 4/1/26. And inside, I've got the address and phone number of the district chairman as well, in case I have any questions, because that's the person as a unit. I am going to be sending it to the district chairman. The other thing I have in my folder is also the program engagement plan for every single committee that there is. So that said, I want to begin going through the updated unit guide. And we will talk about those program engagement plans as we get through the guide. This is the guide. If you haven't downloaded it, if you would like, follow with me. I am not going to read this word for word because I found if you really just read it on your own, it's extremely self-explanatory. A couple of years ago, Verna, while we were at convention, videotaped the whole class. It's also on YouTube as well. And if you go to YouTube, How to Write a Committee Report, American Legion Auxiliary, you will be able to watch the full hour and 15-minute show. Okay? Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to slip to that next slide about ways to help understand that guide. Got that, Lisa? It's the next, yes, exactly. Now,
Jan, hold on. Jan, excuse me just for 1 minute. If you have just joined the call, please make sure that you put your sound on mute. We are hearing feedback, and it's very difficult for others to hear. So please find the mute button down at the very bottom left and click on it so you can mute your microphone. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. If you look at that slide, and again, if you've got a camera, just take a picture of that little picture there that says ways to help understand this guide. Even though there is a table of contents on page 3, there are some key pieces of this that are crucial to writing the report. Page 5, ideas on how to compile the report. 6 through 7, what falls under each committee. 8 through 9 are your starting sentences for when you are actually beginning to write your committee report. 10 and 11, actually writing the report. 13 through 14 is trying to find that PEP, the program engagement plan, which is called the worksheet. And 17 through 24 will be the impact report that we will talk about later. Most important piece of advice I can give everybody. If you guys can work together when you're writing these reports, have fun, because it's a tedious process. And when you're stuck doing it by yourself, it sometimes, it's exhausting. And if you can have fun doing it, you will be amazed at how much you've done. Okay. There's a lot of screaming in the background here. Somebody's got their TV on. Okay. Okay. All right. So page 4 of the guide basically talks about, why do you even need to write a report? Again, I can't emphasize enough. At the unit level, you write your report, you put in your money, you put in your hours. All of those then go up to the district. From the district, all the district chairmen compile all their reports, and they send it up to department. Department will then file everything, and that goes up to national. National will then turn that over, and it goes to Congress. So every single report, your little report, makes a really huge impact, and every hour counts. On page 5, this is a page where you've got to figure out how you're going to compile your data. And hopefully you've been doing that over the year. If you have not, perhaps you've been putting things on Facebook. You can refer back over the year to what you've put on Facebook. You can keep a small notebook and write down your events and your dates and your times. If in each meeting that you have, if your president calls for reports, at that point, put whatever you've been doing into your minutes and then refer back to your meeting minutes. When you post things on social media, I will tell you right now, to save myself time, I post a lot of what we do on social media, and under it, I write exactly what we did, where we did it, why we did it, what report it goes under, and that all goes in the verbiage of that picture. And then when it's time for me to write a report, and in parentheses, I'll put community service, public relations, Americanism. And then when I go back through Facebook and I see all of those various parentheses, I can cut, copy, and paste and put that right into my report. And it really saves me a lot of time doing it that way. Encourage people to get involved. Whatever works for you. I've put a whole bunch of ideas on page 5. Pages 6 and 7. I included these pages because there should be no reason anybody doesn't file a report for their committee. And I say that because I have put every single committee on pages 6 through 7. And under that committee, I have given you ideas that pertain to that particular committee. And if you look through it and you say, I displayed a banner in a parade, that's Americanism. If you said the Pledge of Allegiance in your meeting, that's Americanism. Constitution and bylaws. If you just reviewed your Constitution and bylaws, there's something you could put in your report. If you've got girls attending Girls State, how did you do your interview process? How many girls are attending? There's your report for Girls State. Legislative. Did you encourage people to vote? Any little thing. And in each of those categories, those committees, are tons and tons of ideas on what falls in that specific category. Now, you may say that some categories overlap with other categories, and they do. You can use some of these things, and I'll give you an example. For instance, if you go into the school, you're talking education. You might be talking children and youth, but you're teaching a class on flag etiquette. Now you've got educating and you've got Americanism. If you've gone into that school and you are helping them with a community project, you've got community service in the school helping kids. So a lot of things can overlap. The key is you can put all of those things in every single one of those reports, but use your hours or split your hours. You can't use every single hour for every report. You've got to be able to split it. You can't what we call double dip or triple dip. Okay? So those pages 6 and 7 really give you ideas on where to put what it is you're doing in each of your committees. Now, on pages 8 and 9, we're actually going to begin to write the report. And on those pages, there is a starting sentence for every single committee. And if you've already got your starting sentence for your committee reports, you don't need to use this. I put these in as suggested sentences for your report because there are some people that just don't know how to begin. I don't know what to say. I've told you, you can use this as an example. Some of these sentences I've taken right off of the program engagement plan. Some of these sentences I just made up because they fit the committee. As an example, the purpose of, I'll say, community service. The purpose of the Community Service Committee is to sponsor programs that involve the conditions of life in the community, especially those of the military and veterans. Okay, you've got your starting sentence. So automatically now you have to think for community service, okay, what have I done that's improved the life in my community? So that's your community service. You're not going to put anything about Girls State. I improved it because I've got girls going to Girls State. That's not community service. That would go under Girls State because the purpose of Girls State is to provide citizenship training and give the educational opportunity to young women to learn about our American government. So each committee has its own specific theme that you can follow to say, okay, I get that. So that's where anything that goes with that sentence goes in that report. Okay. And those sentences are on page 8 and 9 in this guide. If the whole state of Florida uses these beginning sentences, that's okay. Because that sentence, what I did in my unit is not going to be the same thing you did in your unit, but it's all going to cover whatever committee we're talking about, hopefully. Okay. Moving on. Page 10, now we have to write. We've got to put the report together. So you've got to create some sort of a title. And a tough thing when district chairmen get all of these reports at the same time, some people forget to put their unit number and they forget to put end of the year. And I've put this on the top there. It says unit. In mine, I put in the guide, it says unit 303 because that's my unit. But here's my title, unit 303, end of the year 2025, 2026, Americanism report, and the chairperson with their name. And that is on page 10. Have that at the top because when we're reading all of these reports, and I'm reading wonderful things say about I'm the community service district chairman, but I have no clue who's writing this. So you've got to be specific and you want to get the credit. So make sure that you put your name on your report. Okay. After you've got that title, you then have your opening purpose of the program. So you're going to go back to those suggested starting sentences, which we just did on pages 8 and 9. You're going to put that as your first sentence. And then everything you do from there on, you think about what have you done for just that committee that relates to that. And that's where you may go back to all your books that you've compiled your data and look through everything that says community service is going to go in that one. Everything that says public relations is going to go in that folder or in that report. Nowhere else. Well, at this point, if you want to make that your focal point, it's going to go in that committee. All right. Now, the key piece here, and people say, I don't know how to write. I can't write a sentence. If you don't feel comfortable writing a narrative is nothing but a story. And all you have to do is tell your story. Okay, I'm not a good storyteller. I can't do that. Then bullet your main points. What did you do? Just put them down. We had, whatever you did. We had a cleanup on this day. We did Girl State. We, had Girl Scouts in our post. We did a flag folding ceremony. Whatever you did, bullet each of those in your various committees. Okay. If nothing else, it documents that you did these things. You said, the Pledge of Allegiance 55 times this year. Okay. All of that goes in the report. If it's only as a bullet, at least it's documentation for us of what you have done. Now, be aware that if you only bullet it, it counts as a report and it counts as documentation. It will help the district chair people compile data. However, if you want to qualify to win an award at your DCC, you've got to have a narrative. You've got to have a story with complete sentences. Okay? The bright side is if you don't do that, at least we have the necessary information to compile what your unit has worked so hard on all year long. So I'm going to give you an example. For instance, it's education. I'm working on the education committee. Okay, what did we all do, ladies? What did we do? Gentlemen, what did we do? Well, we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week in May. We took donuts and fruit to the schools. We paid $25 and we took 3 hours to do that. We gave them school supplies to the elementary school. We did, sold cookies to raise money for scholarship money. All of those things. So bullet. Okay. You've got all those bullets now. You can now, if you feel comfortable, take those bulleted events and create a story. In May, we celebrated Teacher Appreciation Day by hand delivering fruit and chocolate to all the elementary schools in our area. 4 auxiliary members visited our schools and provided school supplies to our teachers. Our unit spent $75 to aid our teachers. So all I did was I took all of those bullets and I just put some words in and told the story. So either way, if you do it that way, that's your narrative. Okay? From there, all you keep doing in that report is you just continue to add to that report with any monthly or weekly happening that you or anyone performed that relates to that committee. And then when it's time to turn in your end of the year report, you also will need, you've done all of that collecting. Well, then you're going to need an ending sentence, a concluding sentence. Okay, example. And here I even put in a concluding sentence on page 11 that anybody could use, but fill in the right committee. Our goal this year was to continue good relationships in our community. We feel we were highly successful and will continue working at what we are doing. That's my concluding sentence. I have one report where we didn't do anything in one committee. So my ending sentence might be, and my report might be, we did not do anything in this committee this year. Unfortunately, we will work harder next year to do that committee. You know, we weren't as successful, but we focused on other committees instead. Even though you're admitting you didn't do anything in one committee, no one's going to come after you and say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? No. What they are going to tell you is, we've got data, at least, that says you gave us a report and you didn't do anything, versus us just second guessing, well, did they do anything? At least you told us you didn't do anything, and that's okay, because there's, there's 17 committees. So there's a lot of committees. So don't beat yourself up if you can't do every single committee, but the ones you can do and you did well, do well. Okay. At the end of the report, I often end mine with just for God and country. You can end it with sincerely, respectfully, however you want to end your report. And even though you've put your name at the top, I typically put my name at the bottom as well. Okay. The thing, and this is on page 12, what I really want to focus with you is that every single thing you do has value, because the volunteer hours are the gold of your report. Every event takes preparation. It takes legwork, travel time. So bear in mind, from the time you leave your house to the time you come back, be sure to include those hours in your report and also on that impact form. Page 13, now we're talking about the PEP, okay? And the PEP is the Program Engagement Plan. Okay, now you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, wait, I just wrote a whole narrative. What do you mean by the Program Engagement Plan? You have to have both of these things. And they have to, they should be downloaded. Most of them are, you can fill them in, right on the computer. However, I want to just explain to you how you get to the Program Engagement Plan. You go to alafl.org, and on page 13, it lists for you exactly how to do that, and it shows you the drop downs and everything. You click on the specific program. You select member org support or member outreach, and either one you pick, it will give you, under the member org, that's AEF, Constitution and Bylaws, Historian, Leadership, Membership, PR. Those committees are there. Under the member outreach are your other committees: Americanism, Chaplain, Children and Youth, Girls State, all that up to VA&R. Okay. So each of those, every single one of those committees has a program engagement plan. So once you're in there, you are going to select the program. So say, for instance, you're going to select education. Well, under the chairperson's photo, and everybody's got their cute little picture, okay, you're going to click on the program engagement plan. And under that, it will include the due dates and all the information about the program. You can print this document. You can save it onto your desktop. Most unit end of the year unit report forms are fillable online. However, you can also print them and you can save them to your desktop. However you do it, however it is easy for you. The other really important thing about the program engagement plan is that it is the guiding force of your report. So each program engagement plan, the department chairman, when they created these program engagement plans, provided you with ideas on what they would love to see the units do. You might not do every single thing in all of them, but they give you a ton of wonderful ideas. And from there, you can say, oh, yeah, okay, I did that, and make sure that goes on your worksheet, because there will be specific questions as to what you've done. And I'm just pulling Americanism, for instance. On the Americanism worksheet, it will say, How many times did you say pledge allegiance to the flag? How many times did you sing the national anthem? Attend a flag retirement event? Work with local schools. It also will tell you, did you promote Star Spangled Kids, education and youth, teaching patriotism? So it gives you all sorts of ideas. Did you help write the Americanism essay contest? Were you involved with that? It gives you ideas so that as the year goes on, and I know it's February right now, but still look all over those because there's still time to do some of that stuff. So make sure that you check out those program engagement plans. Remember that all of these reports are due April 1st. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember also that I'm reading some of these really good notes down below. I just saw one about the chaplain. There are various requirements that you must do under each one. Like, for instance, did I just see real quick, chaplain, make sure you send deceased reports and things like that? Did I see that? And I'm not checking the chats. I'm listening. I'm listening to what I'm saying here instead. But what I'm saying is each of these committees, thanks, Liz, each of these committees has guidelines for you to direct you. And it's not anything that, you have to say, oh God, I'm such a poor auxiliary member. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Sometimes you may not have done some of the things that are in the committee report program engagement plan, but it still falls under that category. So make sure that gets included in your report. And you may have done some incredible, say, for instance, community service project with foster kids. And it was a community service that, helped your whole community. You may have had, luckily this year, we didn't have, traumatic hurricanes we've had horrible weather, but nothing like we've had in years past where, we were helping communities just to, get building supplies. That might not be in the program engagement plan, but that certainly is community service. So again, you can broaden what it is, even though it might not be in the program engagement plan. Most importantly, the things to remember on page 15. Every committee has a district chairperson. If you've got questions, call those people. They are there to help you. Attend your district meetings. Go to those schools of instruction. Go to your ABC schools. Get to know these people because they're really valuable resources. And at this time of the year, we're getting late in the year now. Start contacting your district chairman and even ask them, am I on the right track? They'll tell you. They'll make sure you're doing what you need to be doing. ALAFL, is always an incredible tool to use. The National Auxiliary website, legion-aux.org, is another great resource. And lastly, for my part of this, I just want you to know when you're writing your reports, try to do it with your other auxiliary members, because not only make it fun and rewarding, but you are going to be so shocked that as you start documenting what you've accomplished, it's going to be truly amazing. And I just will thank you ahead of time for all the work you've done. Okay, at this point, MKP, I am going to turn it over to you. If you've got questions, are there any real quick questions, Lisa, Cheryl, anything that I could answer right now quickly?
Shireen, I know that you and Jenny have been helping with the chat. Not sure if there's anything. I think we were all caught up, but if there's anything that you have seen that I haven't touched on or hasn't been answered.
Okay.
I think Liz Close answered the chaplain.
Yeah. How do we get this workbook was one question.
Okay. And if Verna, I think I saw Verna on here.
Verna put a link out there, and Jenny had put the attachment out there. So,
Yes.
and it's also out on Facebook.
Yes. And I will, at the end of the meeting, both Mary Kelly and myself will have our information on a card there at the end. And if anybody has trouble, I call me, text me. Between myself, Verna has helped me put links all over the place, and we'll make sure you get that guide, because the guide is critical for you moving forward, and even having it next year, it will be helpful for you.
I think just another couple things that were said in the chat. Some of the award and narrative guidelines to apply for an award do have a limit count in letters and words. So
yes,
be
follow the
cautious of that.
directions. Yep,
Follow the directions to the T.
Yes.
And then also Chat GPT and AI is the tools of the century, and we're seeing a lot of that. But Mary Kelly responded, National will not accept anything in AI, so I would say no to either one of those.
I will also say, as a retired English teacher, I will come after you. You guys have a voice. Use your voice. Seriously, and Don Davis has been saying it all year. Share your story. This is where you get to share your story, not in membership, in everything you do. Share your story. Mary Kelly, you're up.
I'm here.
Yay! I'll put myself on mute.
Okay. So, impact forms. We have been bringing this up for years, and of course, none of us paid attention, including myself. I don't want another form to fill out. The impact forms can be found on the national website under Forms and Resources, and that's ALAFORVETERANS.org. They are also on the department website.
ALA. Would you please repeat that?
All right, can we put it in chat?
It's on page 17 in the guide.
Thank you, Jan.
Yep.
So there is an impact form for the member. Every member should be given one. It's a tracking form, basically. From the member, it goes to the unit. The unit president, secretary, or whoever she deems the person should. They're going to add up all of the numbers, the dollars, stuff like that. Then from the unit, it's going to go to the district president, not the chairman, but to the district president. She's going to compile all of the units in their district. Then the district president takes that information, and then she sends it to the department president. Exact same form. It's just compiling, one form into the other to the other. When the department president gets it, then she now forwards it to national headquarters. And Lisa, were you able to put a copy up on the screen?
I am working on it. It was within the PowerPoint. Just give me a second. I should be able to pull that up for you.
Okay, that's fine.
While you say that, Mary Kelly, what she just said is on page 18. How it goes through all the people. It's on page 18 in the study guide.
And that study guide is wonderful. So we'll get it out on everything we possibly can on everyone. Yep. Berna has been absolutely fantastic with this. We'll get it onto every program so it's there. So every member should fill out an impact form. You can come up with Google Pages. Google Sheets is one that I heard over the past weekend. You can create your own. We have a tracking form that is on the department website. It's kind of condensed, but if you know how to use Excel, you can use that. Or you just go the old-fashioned way and just get yourself a composition tablet and keep track of everything you do. So, it's easy. It really is easy. We can give those out. We should really start giving them out early and not wait until workshop, because our year all our reports have to be to the district by April the 1st. So what do we do from April the 1st to March 30th of the following year? So you can start tracking the stuff that you're doing April, May, June, July, even though it's still in the current year, start tracking it for the next year. There are different sections on this impact form. One is service to veterans and military. It asks for the total hours members volunteered. So as a member, if I volunteered 10 hours helping out a veteran, I'm just going to put in there 10 hours. Did I spend any money? Well, yeah, maybe I spend $25. I'm going to put in $25. This impact form is so simple. It's hours and money. Simple as that. And that's what they ask you for. How many members volunteered? How many dollars did you spend? How many veterans or military did you assist? Total number of veterans in community schools. So if we have veterans, even though they're, we may have female veterans who are auxiliary members and they go to the schools. Well, you're going to count that, that's community in this presentations. They're doing a presentation there. In-kind donations. So what are in-kind donations? That's anything that we do. We're donating food, cans of food, clothing, anything like that. It's an in-kind donation. So you're just going to add up how much you spent. Okay. Now we come to poppies. We know we do a poppy report, but now we can do poppies all year round. So if you're doing poppies 4 times a year, just keep track of how many poppies you distributed. Okay. And then how much money you raised from the poppies. So if you distributed 1,000 poppies, it doesn't mean you're going to collect $1,000. You may collect $5,000. You may only collect $50. It's whatever you do, do on there. Then the second section is the service to military families. So you have active duty military families. What do we use Operation Homefront for? There's one idea. Did you do school supplies, Christmas things under Operation Homefront? That's where that would go. How many members volunteered to do it? How many dollars were spent? And how many families were served? Easy peasy. Then you come down to the third section, our ALA services for youth. Total hours for ALA Girl State. Yes, you're going to report how many girls you sent to Girl State, how much time did you spend interviewing, things like that. How much did you spend on Girl State? Well, aside from the registration fee, some units give them little care packages to take up there. Some units give a cute little backpack with all kinds of goodies in it. Okay. There's Girl State's covered. So that's just going to come from your unit records. Total hours for other Legion family youth activities. Did you do a Christmas party at the post with the Legion family? There's hours there. How much money did you spend on Christmas presents for this Christmas party, or maybe something in the community? You just got to sit down and decipher where do you want to put it. Dollar amount of direct cash aid to help a needy child. So maybe you have a child whose parents are having a hard time, and they don't have a jacket, they don't have socks, they don't have tennis shoes, they don't have long pants when it's wind chill factor of 40 and it brings the temperature down to 12. That's where that may only be one child you help in one family. Other unit expenses, that's the parties, dinners, paper goods, and trophies. Anything that you do for children and youth would go in there. Of course, then you would count how many kids attended these things. Donations to all other child service charities. Do you give to the, of course, they changed the name. What is the name? Is Child Welfare Fund, but they added a new word in there.
Child Wellbeing Foundation.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I'm old, and some of these things have a hard time remembering the new things. But I know what I'm talking about when it comes down to it, okay? Then you turn, how many for any service not included in sections 1 to 3? So that's section number 4. I like to say in number 4, when in doubt, put it in number 4. If you don't know where it goes, just throw it in number 4. So if our unit, I'll give you a good example. Monday night, our unit did a bake sale. Strange time for a bake sale. And it was auxiliary members doing it. Nothing that we voted on, which was okay. We believed that it was the wives of the sons and of the Legionnaires. They wanted to help raise some money because we need a new roof. So we're going to throw that in number 4 because it's not really helping the veterans, it's helping the building. So anything you're not too sure of where it should go, throw it in number 4. You'll have absolutely no problem with it. The point is to report it. Right? Scholarships. How many units out there give scholarships, whether it's $100 scholarship or $1,000 scholarship? Number of unit scholarships presented or awarded. We can see that take from our unit records because that should be in our treasurer's book. Total dollars amount of these scholarships, and that total dollar amount donated to department scholarships. So when we do our donation report, hopefully before May, and you give $10 to any one of the scholarships on there, you're going to count that. That's why it says it comes from unit records. But if every member would do that, and if you do more, throw it under number 4. That rhymes. I'll remember that one. Put it under number 4. Give it to your unit president. Unit president, get it to the district president. We need to report these hours. So if you have ever attended a national convention, y'all received an auxiliary book. And I don't know how many pages into the book, there was a complete report of how many departments reported, how many hours we gave, how much money came out to those volunteer hours. What is volunteer hours up to? $28, $32? Start adding all that up. That all goes, as Jen mentioned, that's all going to go to Congress when they start running around the Capitol talking to all of the congressmen and senators about things. We need to report this stuff. And believe me, we are not at 100% reporting with national. You know, we can see it in black and white. We're just not there. We're not 100% reporting with department. And if you stop and think, and I'm going to use leadership as the perfect example. As my year as a leadership chairman, and we have 200, at the time, maybe 207 units, and you only get 116 reports, I find that hard to believe because if you stand up in a meeting and ask a question, and the president answers that question, she's mentoring you, or he. They are mentoring you. That's leadership. Count that. There should never be a report on leadership saying no activity. You're teaching your members. It's just as easy as that. Everything you do is a mentoring moment. If you don't understand something, some of these questions that we're asking, if you don't understand it, ask the question, and you're going to get an answer. Penny Camara is our leadership chairman. Questions come up on that leadership page. Those questions get answered. She's mentoring. Anybody who answers is mentoring. So no, we should never receive anything that says no activity. Now, do you have to do all 17 programs? No. And I've discussed this with Jan. Do you have to write a narrative? No, you don't have to, but you could. If you want to go for awards, then you have to follow everything that is in the program engagement plan. When they ask about how many words, National has a limit, 500 words or less. Well, find out what the Americanism chairman wants. Maybe she wants a narrative of 600 words. You have to read it. Using the AI or what is the GP chat GP? No. Is that how you normally speak? Is that how you normally write? I do that on something as a joke to my brother. And he says to me, who the heck wrote that? And I went, AI. Because it's not how you speak. I'll use Cheryl Adams. Well, she starts sending me texts and I go, what the heck is she talking about? Speak English to me, Cheryl. But it's her education versus my education. Jan, a teacher, an English teacher to boot. I can just see her saying, Lord, run on sentences. Just send the report in. You know, I can't say enough about the impact form. And I said, we've been doing this for years, and I was one who fought it. But if you don't report it, you're doing your unit an injustice. And when we were at mission training this past month, um, if your unit spent $199.52, round it up to $200. Go back to your old time math. Anything under 50, round down. Anything above 50, round up. That's the cents thing. Round it up. Okay. That's easy. I don't want to go into all that. But all of these forms are here. A tracking worksheet. I did download Google Sheets. I don't understand it, so I had to go sit down with somebody and have them explain it because I did it on my phone. I want to do it on my computer to understand how to do it. Do I know Excel? I know enough about Excel to get my body through it. I'm a word perfect person. Not word perfect. What was I called? I don't know. Can't think of what it was called many years ago, but it's certainly Lotus 123. That's what it was called. Same thing as Excel, just a different format. Is there anything that I didn't cover that you have a question on in the impact form? Because if you read it, it's self-explanatory. If you read the book that Jan has done, it's really self-explanatory. She has it in very simple English to understand.
And Mary,
There was a question that was, where can they see historical impact reports that the Department of Florida submitted to National in the past? That'd be great information to share to potential members.
I do not think we have those in the book of reports. I don't think it's in there. But we could probably find out because every president had to send them. So it's something that we can find out and see if TK can go searching for them. Get in touch with past department president and say, do you still have a copy of your impact form? So
I'm sorry, Eileen, go ahead. Can our monthly meetings be considered leadership?
If they're teaching meetings, yes. If they're arguing meetings, no. We go to a meeting.
Mary Kelly-Perkins, that was the best answer I have ever heard. Thank you.
If I go to a meeting, I'm going there to learn, to figure out what we're doing and why we're doing it and what can we do for the next month. I don't want to sit there and argue with everybody. I don't have the time or the patience for it.
And Mary, what you've also just said, am I talking out loud to everybody?
You got the floor.
Okay. What you just said was so important that this meeting right here that we're having, this Zoom meeting, this is leadership. So every single person who's in this meeting right now can put this in their report under leadership.
Absolutely.
And in a way, you can also put it under education because you're learning. You're being taught something that you can then bring back to your own unit and bring this unit guide back and go over this unit guide with your whole thing. Lisa, will you do me a favor and put that one slide on of the impact report with just the 5 that I sent you?
Yes. Hold on one second. I'll try to get back to it.
Okay. The only reason what Mary Kelly had talked about was absolutely perfect. And the thing you've got, I think, yes, there's only 5 sections in the impact report. And that's what she was saying. If it covers vets and military, that's the first one. If it covers military families, second. Children and youth, The third one, community service. The fourth one, scholarships. That's it. Don't overthink this. Don't overcomplicate this. As Mary Kelly said, they go in each category. On page 19 in the unit guide book, there are other examples besides the one that Mary provided as well. So there's a ton of things that go in every one of these, and they all align basically with all your committee reports. So just think of it, when you're talking about national security, you could be talking about your military. You could be talking about your military families. Sometimes you could be talking, a lot of them go hand in hand.
They do.
That makes sense, right, Mary?
Yeah. They do. They go hand in. And here's a good example too. Penny had thrown out on Facebook about collecting teddy bears. Well, I knew that was part of Lisa's thing for VA&R, or Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation. So I went, hey, I can go out and buy a teddy bear. $5-10 is not going to kill me. So I bought a teddy bear. And then I threw it out to, I think 6 or 7 of our members who I had emails for, and we got more. So we brought up, I think, 12 teddy bears to Atlanta, from Newport Richie to Atlanta. 6 teddy bears went to Penny, 6 teddy bears went to Lisa. Well, when we came home, we got 2 more teddy bears, which we're going to give to you, Cheryl, on Sunday. Those are going to veterans. I've got a VA clinic less than 3 miles from me. I'm not going to walk up there with 2 teddy bears and give them out. But boy, oh boy, if I had 100 teddy bears, I could.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's little things like that. I've got this thing when I see kids in the store and they're in flip-flops. They don't even have a hoodie on them and shorts, and it's 33 degrees out there. I want to take my coat off and give it to them because that stuff bothers me. And there's mommy all dressed up nice and warm, but there's the poor little kid with nothing on their feet. You want to go and buy them stuff to put them on their feet. You have to look at your community. One of the things that I brought up over the weekend, and it was just on paper, have you ever had coffee with the cop? And then I start breaking it down. Dine with the deputy, something with the sheriff, snacks with the sheriff. That can go into community service, not national security so much, but community service, because you're talking to the police officers or sheriffs or whatever they're called in each municipality. What are they doing? They're trying to teach you things about your community, to be aware of what's going on in your community. Look at the things that had just happened in the past 2 days. In Sarasota, they found how many people dead, in a house down there. Nobody knows what was going on there. And then in Canada, how many people were killed there in a school shooting? You have to be aware of everything's going on. But that's what I liked. I did a coffee with the cop up in Lake County, and it was absolutely fantastic. It's something we should all think about. Can we do that? And just look to see, do you have city police there, which I call them cops, or the police? Do you have sheriffs there? Sit down and think of what you have and know where to put them. And if you're not sure, where are we going to put them? In number 4.
Right. Community service.
There was another question that was submitted. If you are a district officer and you go and help a unit officer at a unit meeting, would that go under the unit or the district's officer report?
Well, a district officer doesn't really send in a report other than what she done as a district president. So if you're talking about the hours, that's part of your responsibility.
I would include that in the unit report for whatever district officer's unit that is, they should be put in that specific committee for the unit.
So are you saying it should go under what, the unit's leadership?
It could, yes. And if they were teaching, it could even go under, it could go, if they're a past president even, or if they're an officer, that's
Dan, can you repeat that, please? Can you repeat that? It should go where?
I would put it under, you could put it under leadership, or I would even put it under education, because it's part of educating people.
As the district president?
I thought you said it was in a meeting, though.
It is. It's a district officer has gone to a unit's meeting and had provided guidance and information there, would that go under the unit or the district officer?
Well, the district officer doesn't do a year-end report for hours and monies because she has to do a report to the department president. Lisa, what do you think?
I'm sorry, Mary. We were having questions on what was coming in chat.
I'm gonna add in on that. Florida is the only state, I believe, that has a PPP, a past president's parlay. I know my particular unit writes that only because I, at one point, was a district president. Okay. I think that could go under your PPP report because that is specifically, that is a past auxiliary leader training future leaders.
So, for instance, we have within District 16, in our district, we have a finance chairman who has gone to a unit to provide training to that particular treasurer, as well as those in the executive committee. Therefore, that would be considered under the unit's what? Leadership?
That would go under the unit.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unit.
Yes.
Hey, Jan, it's Penny. Can I interject for 1 second on what you said about the PPP?
Yes.
I agree. I think it's great that we have the PPP with department and the mentoring definitely goes under that. But if we're talking about the reporting hours to go to national, the PPP hours would not be counted towards national because they don't recognize it.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
There's
That's
no
true.
report.
Thank
That's
you,
true.
Penny.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. That's true. Right.
There was another question in the chat from Deborah Dean. The question was, when we sell our breast cancer shirts and other items, where do we put it?
Community.
Yeah, that's community service.
So district sergeant in arms, and they go to units to help a new sergeant in arms. So Sherry Shoup, you're going to put that under your own unit as a unit member. There'd be no different than me going up to our new unit 418 in Spring Hill, just going up there and teaching them something. I'm just going to put that under leadership on my unit. That's where I would put that.
Right. Me too.
ABC, we report all that, we report our time and hours to our leadership instructor. So she puts that in there. That's one of the things, because she also has to do one of these in impact forms. So
And again, I'm going to refer to pages 6 and 7 in the unit guide. A lot of what we've just talked about, those ideas and samples are in those specific committees. So please go back and refer to that if you need it.
I need to interrupt you, Jan. When you say unit guide, or do you mean this report?
I'm sorry. Committee, this guide, this committee guide.
Because that was one of the things that came up. They can't find it. So Jenny was very nice and put on the oh my goodness gracious.
A link?
The Adobe.
On the chat?
Right. She put a link where you can find this book. Because unfortunately, not everybody is on Facebook, and not all of our chairmen are utilizing their Facebook pages. And they have to really read those program engagement plans, because there's so many dates that are wrong. Everything is due to district by April the 1st. Not March the 5th. Well, March the 15th is okay, but not April the 15th, not May the 15th.
Right.
They're all due to district by a certain time. We have time levels.
Exactly.
Okay, it looks like we have another one. When we help out with, hold on, when we help out with other members of the Legion family, and we utilize those hours.
So you're helping the Legion family. Are they active duty or are they, it's a Legionnaire who's having a tough financial time?
Or Cheryl, are you just referring to you're helping in the kitchen for a Legion event?
Yeah.
Number 4.
Community
There you go.
service, honey. All of that goes under community service. If you're helping the Sons, you're helping the Legion, on a Thursday night dinner or whatever. Yes, that goes under community service.
Because remember, years ago, if you went into a post home on a Saturday and was polishing furniture or, such enough on polishing, we could never count that. Maybe you went and you planted flowers outside. We could never count that. Now we can.
Yes.
Looks like Tammy Zell had a hand raised.
I was just going to share a comment, if you didn't mind. When you're debating about which activity to put something in, there's so many things that overlap. One thing I've tried to do is I look at what reports I have that are already very strong and which ones might be a little bit weaker.
Good point.
And so if I have something that overlaps, I may end up putting that into the weaker report just to beef that one up a bit.
Right.
That's a good idea.
That's an idea of how you can split things up too.
And that's exactly what Coral Mason, they just report it. The important thing is to report it.
Tam, go ahead.
We are not just a place to go for the camaraderie. We do things. And if we don't toot our own horns, nobody else is going to toot them for us.
And again, not to burden yourself. The verbiage that you put in that one report can also go in that other report. You can just copy and paste it to the other report. Just you can't double dip your hours, or you have to split your hours. But you can use the exact same sentences in both reports.
Right.
Because they both work.
So I'm looking at a question here. So our dessert table at our post goes to community service. If it's at your post, you're raising money. Is that money going to the post? Then that's helping the post. So yes, that would be community service.
Right. But if you're doing that for scholarships, that
Then
goes
it's
under
education.
scholarships.
Right.
It goes under education, or it could go under number 5, the scholarship, because you're working toward earning money for scholarship.
So Verna, I know you know this answer. Can we clarify if miles hours for attending your unit district meeting counts? No, they do not.
Yes.
But
right.
if you have a special meeting because you're doing an event and you're going to have 3 or 4 meetings that month because you're doing a special event, those hours would count. But just to go to your unit meeting or district meeting, you cannot count that mileage, or can you count those hours?
Dagnabbit.
I know. Boy, we could have just got 800 and some miles this past weekend.
I know.
Mary, we have Dawn Davis who raised her hand.
Okay.
Hi. I just wanted to also mention that with public relations, and I know Verna probably is wanting to say this as well, we all do public relations, just reminding everybody that that's a report that never should go undone, that we all brand, and making sure that everybody reports that we're branding, that we're wearing our shirts, that, we're always representing our auxiliary and making sure that we're reporting that too. So go public relations. But I'm just a tiny little tidbit for me. Thank you.
You have another. When doing the poppy report, is there anything else that can count towards poppies except for distribution events?
What about Little Miss Poppy or Senior Poppy? Do you make poppy wreaths? The Girl Staters do a poppy wreath. I've seen other people do poppy wreaths. You make corsages. Some units make corsages out of poppies and present them, to the department president when she comes for a visit.
And Cheryl, I'm just looking at the program action plan, engagement plan. how did you promote the poppy program?
Yep.
How did you increase poppy revenue? Did you have a poppy poster contest? Little Miss Poppy, a poppy ambassador, poppy items distributed, and how much money did the unit raise distributing poppies? I mean, it's right. There aren't that many things in the poppy, but if you can answer those questions, there's your report right there.
So everything that's in the chat box is absolutely marvelous. Poppy poster, poppy cookies, the
Poppy pins.
Poppy pins. Why not? There was one person who had a tizzy fit because they were going out to buy a pin that was, almost like the cancer awareness thing, that loop, and it had a poppy on it. I said, well, you can't do that. Why? That wasn't copyrighted. That was a pin they were buying and they were putting it out on display. And if you want to sell them for $5 a piece, why not? Because that money is going to our veterans. That money stays in the Poppy account, and it can only go to veterans and active duty military families, nothing else.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Julie Gebhardt, Poppy Proclamation.
Yeah. And I like Dawn Davis just said poppy scarves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And years ago, I'm talking many years ago, I found this flea market down in the Brandon area that had these scarves, and which we still have. I think they were like $4 a piece. We bought a whole slew of them and we sold them for $10, and that money went into our Poppy account.
There you go.
You have another question? We are selling paper hearts with poppies on them to display at the post. So can this be put in the Poppy report?
So that would are they putting poppies on them also?
Yes.
Why not?
They're selling.
Absolutely.
And that would go into your Poppy fund. Can't go in any other place but your Poppy fund. Present poppy pins. Why not? I mean, I picked up some pins. I think, I don't know if I got them at National Convention. I gave them out to somebody. So if I spent $3 or $4 a pin, or maybe somebody from another unit was selling them and I bought them, and you give them to somebody, why not? It's telling you what the poppy is all about. And if you think about it, not that poppies are dying, but it's hard to distribute poppies. We have something coming up in March, and the first thing they said, well, we want to sell poppies. Well, I about had a heart attack. I said, we don't sell poppies.
Right, exactly.
Give them a poppy and have a big donation jug there. It's.
You guys, I'm going to give you another example. Dara, I see you've got your hand up. I'm going to just jump. This has got to do with poppies. At our Veterans Day ceremony, we had our junior recite Flanders Field. She had memorized it and recited it to the whole post.
Nice.
And that's going in our Poppy report. I mean, so it's just so you're touching on a lot of things. That's going to go in my junior report. That's going to go in my I would love to put it in my leadership, but because I really encourage that, but that's going in the Poppy report because that's a hard report sometimes to fill. Dara, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what if you took a poppy and wrapped it around one of those little American flags that you can get like 10 in a package? Where would you put that, Jan? Would you put it under Americanism for the flag, or would you put it under poppies?
I'd put it under both.
There you go. By splitting the hours, you can't put the same amount of hours. That's double dipping.
Right. Yep.
Put it under poppy cells. Under poppy cells. I would go under poppy sales or poppy distribution.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that's what we're distributing is the poppy and the Americanism, both. But you're going to use one. So choose your, if you want to use it in Americanism, yeah. If you want to use it as poppies, yeah. But you can't, like you say, can't do both.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Make your choice.
Yep.
Mary Dara has raised her hand.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that we also, when we have poppy money, it can go towards the Guardian on Honor Flight.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's all.
But if there's going to be a luncheon, can that go? Can you use Poppy monies for that?
I don't believe it can go under Poppy unless it's specific for to help the veteran
Yes,
themselves. So if
yes,
it's not,
the guardian.
yeah, but not the guardian, no.
No.
Right.
But if one of these hubs wants to do a luncheon and like a reunion, can we use Poppy funds for that?
No. It has to be tied directly to the missions.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Mhm.
So now you all heard it. We cannot. Anything else?
I
Any
would
other
like to
questions?
just I would like to just say a couple of closing things, if you don't mind. First of all, thank everybody for being here. I don't know exactly how many people were here, but wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. Secondly, feel free. Verna will be posting that. I think Penny Cambara is going to be putting that on leadership. There's going to be a lot of different posts. If you are on Facebook, follow those pages. There's always a ton of information. If you want to go to that video YouTube and see that whole presentation that Verna created on how to write a committee report that she filmed at the convention a couple of years ago, not a lot has changed. You'll get a whole review of that once again. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 15-minute long video that she did. And other than that, just try to just have fun with it. Try to have fun writing these reports. And if you got questions, reach out to all of us.
Actually, what we've asked to do, and I've cleared this with Penny, if you have any further questions, send it to the ALAFL leadership page, and that way we can get the answers, and then everybody can start learning with these reporting questions.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We just have to do this. We just have to, if your unit has a Facebook page, put it on your unit Facebook page. The district, put it on the district page. Let's blast Facebook with
and that's PR. That's public relations.
There you go.
These things. I'm tired of listening to what went on in the Super Bowl. Who cares? At this point? Who cares? It's
Oh, by the way,
gone.
Big shout out to Texas for joining us tonight as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Welcome, Texas.
And you have to remember too, every department does things differently. Florida is unique to all the other departments. We are unique. Verna knows National is watching the Department of Florida. We do good things, but we just don't report them. When you go to National Convention and you listen to the winners, well, wait a minute, we did that, but we did it better. But yet our name didn't get mentioned.
Well, another shout out here to Kentucky
and
Welcome.
Ohio.
There you go. We're spreading. This is great.
And if you want to get in touch with me, it's easier for you to text me because I get so many spam calls, or what do you call it, potential spam, or whatever you want to call it. But if you send me a text, I read the text. A lot of times I don't answer my phone.
Mary Kelly, there's information on the page right now, 813-508-3822.
That's me.
Okay, so you can text Mary. She'll take that text. Everyone, you can text me, email me, directly call me. I'll answer the phone. And Mary Kelly will always answer the phone.
No, I'll answer your text first before I answer.
Yes.
Everybody wants to sell me insurance. They want to sell me highlights. God only knows what else they want to sell me. I'm not buying.
So now everybody knows that if you have any further questions, please send them out to ALAFL leadership. We'll get those questions out there. We'll get them answered. We'll have both Jan and Mary Kelly monitoring those. We'll get you the answers quickly if you need to reach them. They've been providing their contact information. Are there any further questions tonight from any folks?
I'd like to make a comment. Julie Gebhardt just says only after coffee. So if you're friends with Julie Gebhardt, she put something on Facebook yesterday. that, about asking me a question, make sure I've had my coffee first.
Oh, that's most important for Mary Kelly. Make
Yes.
sure she does have her
And
coffee.
I wish I had that stuff about the pebble and the stone and the rock. And when I put it out there, I'm not a stone. I'm definitely a rock. I got a lot of sharp edges, but we can smooth them down. We all can. A lot of us have sharp edges and we don't realize it. So it's something we all have to work on. And when you go to your meetings, please don't argue with everybody.
I know.
Let's just be kind.
That's it.
So, Miss Lisa, when will the recording be available?
I should have that in the next couple days. I do want to say thank you to everyone that participated and helped monitor the chat tonight. And also went out and got PDFs and pulled the information so that we all had it. So thank you very much for making this tonight successful.
Hey, listen, it takes a village. That's why we have us all here.
That's for sure.
Be kind.
So thank you very much to Mary Kelly-Perkins as well as Jan Farrington for being our presenters tonight. We sincerely do appreciate all your knowledge and your wisdom. Thank you to everyone that joined us tonight. At one point, there were 72 participants. We will definitely get the information out to you. Thank you, Ohio, Kentucky, Texas, all of you out there for joining us tonight. Stay tuned. Our next Zoom is going to be on community service. That's going to be on February 17th. Until then, you all have a very wonderful evening, and we will catch you on the next Zoom.
Cheryl, I will not be on the one on February the 17th because I have a date with my oldest son to go down to the arena and listen to Andre Bocelli.
Oh boy, that'll be fun. Well, family
Yes.
comes first.
Yes, it does.